And then a lot of times it's actually better to be in snow or hard pack on the street than be in the tire tracks.
Oh, okay.
Because the tire tracks is where it's going to freeze and it's going to be sheer ice. And the hard pack, I have more traction sometimes.
Yeah, that's the problem. We have an ice storm a lot of times after the snowpack's down. We get an ice storm right after it, so it's just as slick as glare ice on top of the hard pack anyway.
Yeah, you can't ride on that. I can't ride on that.
Yeah, it gets so slick that it gets impossible.
So you've never ridden a dirt bike?
No, nope, never ridden a dirt bike. In fact, the very first time I rode a sport bike was actually retrieving Lori Jennifer's Ninja 250 for her. She was feeling a little bit ill and her mom picked her up at work, so she asked me to drive her bike home for her, and that's the first time I've ever even been on a sport bike in my entire life. It's always been cruisers.
Did you feel like you were laying down on it?
Yeah, it did feel strange being so far. It didn't feel exactly laid down, but it just felt so uncomfortably far forward. And the worst thing for me was my legs, having my legs in such a backward position. That would have made it, I could have probably dealt with everything else for even 100 miles, but I don't think my legs kind of bent and backwards like that would have taken it real well.
Because I've never been on one either.
Oh, okay.
And I have no desire to be on a crotch rocket.
The one thing that surprised me most of all, though, is I'd been sitting on them and I thought they were uncomfortable to sit on. That was actually the most comfortable part once I got in the right position. I was always, when I was sitting on dirt bikes, like in showrooms, I would sit on them. I was sitting on them like a cruiser. Well, when you properly position your body, the seat is actually not too bad. It's still not going to be a 300-mile seat, obviously, but it's not bad when you're in the proper position. But my wrists, the palms of my hands, they really ached. Just staying on the bike for maybe 20 minutes to get back to my garage.
Yeah, you do lean, on mine you do lean forward quite a bit. And it's even, let's see, my first bike was CT 175 Yamaha, 73. And then I moved up to a 76 Suzuki TS 185. And, you know, back then I was 18 and bulletproof and nothing really bothered me.
Yeah.
And then in 87 I bought a Yamaha DT 175 or 185. I've always ridden the light bikes. So when I was shopping this time around, I always had a problem with air-cooled bikes because I'd always ride them in the summertime and they would overheat and they would shut off.
Oh, okay.
So when I started shopping for bikes, I went through all those. I wanted about a 400, but I couldn't find a 400 dual sport that was liquid cooled. So, well, I did find one. I think it was, I'm not sure what it was. But this Kawasaki 650 was only $6,000. I say only, but compared to Honda and everything else, they all had their drawbacks. They were all air-cooled, and I was like, no. So I went with the Kawasaki. And yeah, I went through it all over again. My hands hurt from leaning forward. I tried adjusting the handlebars. I brought them back, and that helped quite a bit. But then it affected my handling so much. So then I went back to the factory setup, so to speak. And actually I went forward more. And then, you know, I'm doing all these changes that, you know, within weeks. I'm changing the foot pegs. I get the boots. I had to extend my shifter because with the boots, motocross boots or whatever kind of boots you want to call them, that changed everything. So now I've got my right boot or my right peg adjusted down and back, which I had to manufacture a part to do that. And then my left, I had to take that plate out because I put the extended shifter on. So I kind of ride left foot forward, right foot back.
Okay.
About an inch.
Now, just for the sake of people that might be watching this, I'm going to post a few excerpts out of this for just a preview of our interview. What's the exact model number of your bike?
It's a 2009 Kawasaki KLR 650. The actual thing is a KL 650 E9.
Okay. Because I figure that's what people are going to ask in the comments. As soon as I post this, they're going to ask, and I know basically what kind of bike you have, but this way they got the exact information from you.
It's water cooled. It's actually a 651, believe it or not. When you buy one of these, you need, if you're looking at buying one of these, you need to research it quite a bit. And if you want to contact me, I can give you some websites that I belong to that you can get a lot of information on. It has some known defects. From the factory, known defects. But you can fix all those. There's a... Geez, oh man, I wasn't ready for this.
Well, that's okay. While you're thinking about it, I have a question to ask you. Those bags you mounted, I really like that idea of the front and the back bags you had mounted too, because in case you do tip over, it not only gives you a cushion, but also cushions the bike. And I mentioned that in my last video I posted too, that would be kind of cool if I could find a way to mount bags in the front, not just my saddlebags, which protects the back of the bike, but some kind of a more of a front bag too, to just take a little bit of the cushioning should the bike go down and not trap your legs so much either.
Yeah, you just got to make sure you get soft-sided bags, and I run those year-round. The front one's more predominantly in the wintertime because it also helps keep your legs warm.
Oh, okay.
It takes the wind off your legs. And I got those, I got them off a website, and they were fairly cheap. I think they were like $50 to $75.
Okay.
And then it was my idea to put the bike cover on the right side, and then I have a toolkit on the left side, and then I have actual foam between the toolkit and the outside of the bag, just for that exact reason. Now, normally when I dump a bike, if I have to dump it, I try to dump it to the left, where I fall to the left.
Okay.
And in that ride, Snow Ride 13, when I had to lay it down, I really didn't have a choice, because when I hit that front brake, it's a mechanics thing. It's the rotor is on the left side, so when I pulled the front brake lever or just tapped it, it stops the left side faster than the right, I guess. And I learned the bike when I was out dirt riding, so I knew what it was going to do. It was going to pull the front to the left, so I had to jam on the rear brake harder, which brought the ass end around, so I was able to dump it to the right. And I don't care about the bike. It's more important to stop me than stop the bike.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't want to stop myself by hitting a snowbank or a telephone pole.
Absolutely, absolutely.
If that makes any sense to you.
No, my leg is a lot more valuable than any motorcycle.
And that's all part of the AtGat video I did, where I protect my joints. Is exactly what you were just talking about. Your knees, your elbows, your shoulders. You can break a bone. You can break a bone. It'll heal. It won't be exactly perfect, but if you break a joint, damage a joint, you're in for a long haul getting that repaired.
Yeah.